Here I am in a brand new Lexus LS430. Well, it's not exactly brand new, but you wouldn't be able to tell with just how nice and well equipped this model is. Where the ES and GS were targeted as competitors to the BMW 3 and 5 Series, as well as the Mercedes C and E classes, respectively, the LS was the creme de la creme of Toyota's luxury branch, butting heads with the ultra-luxurious BMW 7 Series and the Mercedes S-Class, at a fraction of the cost. When Lexus came on the scene in 1989, their mission was to create a luxury sedan for the international markets, rivaling the dominion of BMW and Mercedes, as well as other European brands. And for the sake of argument, I'm not even going to take seriously the junky US manufacturers.
It's hard to find anything in the Crossfire that really works.
Even the interior is wrong.
I've been trying to think what it is that this shape reminds me of, and last night it came to me. You know when a dog's doing its number twos, that kind of arched back thing? That's what it is!
The one word to describe this example of Lexus's finest would be meticulous. That applies to both the detail Lexus put into their flagship luxury sedan and the level of care that the one owner took of it in the past 14 years. Now, to really appreciate the specifics of this car, let's look back on the vision of the company and the pedigree of the LS lineup. They believed they could make a luxury sedan that was just Toyota with leather seats. Now, the Japanese automaker did not limit themselves with a budget or a specific time constraint in the R&D of the Lexus company. The resulting product was an all-new car backed by the finest engineering of Toyota's greatest successes. First impressions? Incredibly quiet, incredibly comfortable, also quite torquey. Second impression, very smooth engine, and no wind noise at all. Lexus started their LS with the 1UZ FE engine platform. That's the same engine used in the million-mile Lexus LS430, owned by Matt Farah. 2 generations later, the all-aluminum dual-overhead cam, 4-valve per cylinder 3UZ FE in Auerbird uses sequential electronic fuel injection and dual variable valve timing. The result is almost 300 horsepower and 325 pound-feet of torque. Made it to the A761E 6-speed automatic transmission with dual overdrive gears, providing excellent fuel economy. The LS430 was one of the first gasoline V8 engines to actually be certified as an ultra-low emissions vehicle. Let's put her in sport. And the new torque-activated electronic control module made the throttle adjustments that were based on engine speed, as well as vehicle speed and pedal position. Like Jay Leno says, horsepower can cure a lot of problems, and all 290 of these ponies, they are just asking to cure your ails. So you can notice just how responsive it is, unlike other autos of the time. Looking at you, Subaru.
I shift the gear from park to drive. Watch out.
For a car that weighs almost 2 tons, 6.7 second acceleration on one end and 26 miles per gallon on the other is a dream. Now, with a fully equipped BMW 7 Series of the era, you had a push-button start, fancy, but you still had to take your key out of your pocket and insert it into the slot by the steering wheel and by the button. With our LS, you never again have to take the key out of your pocket. Completely keyless entry and start. And with this third generation LS, with the host of new technological and interior features, that is by far my favorite. Completely keyless entry. Using a radar sensor in the front behind the grille, this 2004 has adaptive cruise control that keeps distance and speed with the car in front of you, so it'll even control the brakes to slow you down in traffic, which is a first for the US market Lexus. Using millimeter wave radar technology, it also enabled them to design a pre-collision system, which is a low-speed tracking mode that warns you if the car in front of you suddenly stops, and it will activate the brakes to help stop you. It'll also tension the seatbelt, and I got to experience this in LA traffic. It's kind of scary, but I was a little impressed for its age that it's so safe a car.
But autopilot is sold separately.
Now, if you got the Ultra Luxury Edition, which is this model here, you get larger, high-speed brakes and height-adjustable air suspension, tuned for a combination of both soft ride and responsive handling. So in other words, it's a limousine on a cloud at the touch of a button. The body was also more aerodynamic than previous LS sedans, and that was the product of wind tunnel testings at the facilities used for the Japanese bullet train development. You know, the ones that go up to 200 miles an hour? Coefficient of drag on this, 0.25 with air suspension. Excuse me, did you hear that right? That's right, the same coefficient of drag as a 2018 Tesla Model X. That's better than any Corvette, the Subaru BRZ, most Ferraris, BMWs, Porsches, and even the Nissan Leaf. You want to know what actually beats 0.25 coefficient of drag? This. Other cool features, standard, the LED taillights and the HID headlights, in addition to swiveling projectors in the front that follow you in a turn. I remember seeing this as a kid in a commercial and just being blown away. The interior design was inspired by the guest room of the luxury hotel, the Ritz-Carlton, and the seats were inspired by the first-class seats of British Airways and Japan Airlines. Never been in them, so if you have, let's compare notes. Inside, we have walnut wood trim everywhere on the dashboard, the steering wheel, the doors, as well as semi-aniline leather, which is supposed to simulate the natural gradient versus using a solid, dyed coat on the leather, so it looks really beautiful. Cute little things like oscillating air vents and a bunch of climate control features for the front and rear. The GPS navigation system was also redesigned with the LCD touchscreen and voice-controlled navigation.
I'm hungry.
System is showing restaurant icons.
The next thing I love is the Mark Levinson premium sound system. Rumor has it Mark finally agreed to designing a stereo for a car because they finally got the cabin up to his high standards for the first time, as well as eliminating most of the road noise. They have more seals on these doors than any other car I've seen, and that's the secret to keeping the noise down. So in our ultra luxurious, highest trim specification, fully loaded, all options, Lexus included power door and trunk closers. And that means gone are the days where you have to slam door shut or do that cool little hip dance move every time you get it only on the first catch because you didn't push it hard enough. Heated and cooled front seats, as well as heated and cool rear seats, power reclining rear seats with built-in massagers. The rear occupants also get full control of the stereo and the climate control, a power sunshade button for the rear, and on the sides you have sunshades that go up for the main window and the little corner window, and that's to keep the begging orphans from seeing you and approaching you when you want to enjoy the springtime breeze, have your windows down, but still remain incognito. In similar fashion, the sunroof will tilt up and allow the shade to remain completely closed. My best guess is that's for when you want it to only sound like you're getting fresh air without actually having to feel it. Mind the gap? Not anymore. With these built-in gap traps on the front driver and passenger side seats, slide your phone and change all you'll want. Only downside is you're not getting french fries anymore as you stick your hand down in there to look for something. Another notable mention, the tightest U-turn of any full-size sedan. So tight, in fact, I almost hit this car with my GoPro. Is your spouse not convinced that it's a safe enough car for the family? Well, why don't you show them the front and rear side curtain airbags, knee airbags, parking sensors, rain-sensing windshield wipers, and water-repellent windshield and side glass, electronic brake force distribution, and the backup camera, as well as pre-collision. It's full of features to keep you safe, keep you alert, and let you know what's going on around you. Initial base price in the US around this time, $55,000, and when you had it fully equipped, as you see here, it encroached $70,000. With this high-end luxury sedan, Lexus became increasingly able to command higher prices and premiums for its vehicles as it encroached on those European rivals. It also scored top marks as the most reliable and best performing luxury sedan every year of production, and got a maximum of 5 stars for its theft prevention capabilities.
So if you're looking at breaking into
And this here is all the money you're going to save versus buying a used BMW or Mercedes.
Now let's talk about the history of this car. It was maintained and it lived its entire life in Orange County. It was bought at Newport Lexus. Everything that ever needed to be replaced was done there, from even the small bits and pieces that would get damaged over time, like the center armrest would get a little worn out from years of elbows. The dealership would scratch the glove box while they were changing the upholstery on the passenger seat to reupholster it. We had them replace that as well. Everything is pretty much meticulous. There's only a few spots of wear, and that would just be the steering wheel with all the sun. It's got a little bit of fading on it. Other than that, it feels like a brand new car. Low emissions, fuel efficient, plenty of power. It's basically the perfect used luxury car. Check out the link for the eBay listing on this car. If you're in the market for a used Lexus, this is a great way to break into that market, and especially with this model, fully loaded, one owner, meticulously maintained. Check out all the records for the service history as I put it in the description here and on the eBay listing. And thanks for watching as always.